10,000 hours. That's more than a year of non-stop effort. Waking up with physics in my head, sleeping with chemistry on my mind, and somewhere in between, trying to not lose myself. I wasn't the smartest guy in the room. I didn't crack JEE in some heroic overnight way. But what I did was show up every single day for 2 years straight. And in that process, I didn't just learn some formulas. I learned about fear, ego, burnout, self-doubt, and how to push through all of it. This is not some topper story. This is what really feels like to give everything you have for one exam. So in this video, I'll be sharing you top 5 lessons I've learned from my JEE preparation. But before that, here's a simple background story to understand it better. I was born in July 2003. A simple childhood filled with cartoons, kites, and dreams. I was the kind of kid who sat on the last bench, got scolded by teachers occasionally, but still managed to score decent marks. I used to enjoy small moments like celebrating Holi in Sanjeev Colony, flying kites, and making friends in gullies. Sundays were special. I used to think when I grow up and have money, I'll eat outside every day. But as I grew up, life had other plans. I found myself in a coaching center, preparing for an exam I didn't even understand. I didn't ask for it. I didn't plan for it. I was thrown into this world of pressure, deadlines, and constant comparisons. In short, it wasn't easy. But, here's where it gets interesting. In the middle of all that confusion, something unexpected happened. I met people. Yeah, strangers at first. But slowly, they became my lifeline. We were all in the same boat, clueless, scared, and ambitious. Some were better at maths. Some explained chemistry like they were born to teach. And some just sat beside me in silence. But that was enough. That's when I realized you don't need to fight this battle alone. You need a circle, a group, a team. So here's lesson number 1. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, find your group and grow together. It doesn't have to be big, maybe just 2 or 3 people. Initially, I thought isolating myself would make things easier. That was my biggest mistake. If you are preparing for JEE, don't make the same mistake. Find yourself a study circle. Get surrounded by people who will push you forward. But at the same time, give some time for yourself and your own thoughts. Balance is key. But after some days, the real problem begins. How do I solve these tough, complex problems? Some of my friends used to solve them just like that. Then I started to think, what am I doing wrong? See, no one tells you this. But in JEE preparation, it's not just about formulas and mock tests. Nah bro, you think it's about solving problems. But half the time, you're just sitting there, staring at a question, sweating and convincing yourself. Yaar, ye to mushkil hai. Chhod dete hain. We'll try it later. But the later will never come. That's when I realized you can surround yourself with the right people, but you still have to fight your own mental battles. So before we go any further, let's address the real villain of our preparation journey. Every time you skip a tough question, you naturally lower your rank. Most JEE students see problems as scary monsters. But what if you started seeing every problem as just a locked door in a huge mansion? And here's the thing. You already have the keys. People tend to panic when they see something unfamiliar. They think they are not smart enough if they can't solve it immediately. They avoid difficult questions, thinking they'll deal with them later, which rarely happens. But the truth is, the fear isn't from the problem. It's from not knowing what to do next. Every problem is just a puzzle, built from concepts you already know. You don't need to be genius. Listen to this carefully. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to be patient, break it down, and try one key at a time. Here's the mindset. So instead of asking, what if I can't solve this? Start asking, which concept fits here better? That tiny shift kills fear and brings curiosity. And that's where the magic happens. It's all about tackling the mindset. And the moment you flip the switch from, I have to solve this, to, let me see what this problem is trying to tell me, you stop fearing it and start enjoying it. But wait a minute, there's another trap waiting for you in the corner, and that is so you have passed the fear stage and started running and solving problems, and you're like, I solved 50 questions today. Sounds productive, right? But if you never stop and ask why you got 10 of them wrong, you're just practicing the art of repeating mistakes. Speed matters, but thinking about mistakes is where the real growth happens. Smart students grow by learning from every mistake. Generally, students tend to chase questions, count like it's a scorecard. They keep analyzing mistakes to save time and feel uncomfortable facing where they went wrong. So they just move on. But in reality, speed might help you in the exam, but reflection is what sharpens your mind before it. Smart students don't just solve problems, they study their own thinking. They turn every wrong answer into a future strength. I realized solving is half the work. Learning begins when you pause and correct your mistakes. So every time I get something wrong, I don't just mark it. I dig into it. I'll ask myself, what was my approach? Where did I slip? How will I avoid this next time? It's not about how many you solve. It's about how deeply you understand each one. That's where the real growth begins. But we are in the middle of something, right? So let me continue the story. Sometimes we act like magicians. Let me tell you how. Sometimes we trick ourselves into feeling productive without actually doing anything. Yeah, we make the perfect timetable, watch some motivational videos and think about how to get to the top. But by the end of the day, we have done everything except actually sit and study. That's where the silent trap begins. They spend more time on planning timetables than actually studying. Yes, planning helps, I agree. But thinking about being productive isn't the same as being productive. Action is always more important than optimization. Here's the thing, learning is not progress. Progress is solving. You have watched 10 videos on how to study smart. You have watched motivational videos and you feel productive, you feel motivated. But your question sheet is still empty. That's not learning, that's illusion. You feel good, you feel smart by watching those videos, but you're not moving forward. It's like reading a book on how to swim while sitting on your couch. And sometimes it's dangerous. You convince yourself that you are being productive. You avoid actual effort of solving tough questions. You become addicted to the idea of being a topper without doing the actions of one. Your goal isn't to look like a topper, it's to become one. And that happens when you choose discomfort daily. So the next time you're studying, ask yourself, am I just feeling productive or am I actually moving forward? Because the truth is, success doesn't come to the most motivated, it comes to the most consistent. You can fool everyone, but not your calendar. If you don't show up daily, it shows. So this gets us to the lesson number 5. JEE is not just a race, it's a test match, not a T20. Most students think JEE is a short race, but the truth is, it's a test match. It's about showing up every single day, even when the scorecard is not in your favor. Generally, students tend to start strong, but they lose energy in the midway. They think one bad test means it's all over. They wait for motivation instead of building momentum. But here's the reality. You don't need to be perfect every day. You just need to show up. Some days you will hit boundaries, and some days you will defend. The only thing that matters is to stay at the crease. Play until the last ball. Success in JEE doesn't come from one magical day of hard work. It comes from hundreds of average days stacked together. So stop chasing perfection. Chase consistency. You don't win the match in the first session. You win it by being there till the very end. So, see you in the next video.
Hickory dickory dock, back from the dead is a miracle doc. They counted me out, moment of truth, counting it down.